Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dr. Fantastic Interviews. We've got Brittany Rose as an interviewee this morning, and the great thing about Brittany is she is studying to be a psychologist, correct?
Yes.
And your focus is going to be on
Being a clinical psychologist.
clinical, so explain that to us.
Well, basically, I want to work in the hospitals. I want to work where they send serial killers and mentally challenged people.
Okay.
So they're not crazy; they're mentally challenged.
And what do you suppose causes that?
Their brain.
Yes.
It all has to do with neuroscience. Some people's brains are wired different than ours.
Now, okay.
Like certain nerves don't connect to the right side or the left side as it does in a person who you per se say is normal.
Boy, I can't stand that word, normal.
Nobody's normal.
Nobody's normal.
Nobody.
I once had a girlfriend who worked at Fairview State Mental Hospital for the criminally insane.
Mm-hmm.
Or just the insane. They don't have to be criminals. And it was amazing to see human beings that were quite insane.
Yeah, that's what I want to work with. I want to work with serial killers, murderers.
Now, do you think murderers and serial murderers come from the poorer areas of town, let's say?
No.
They can come from
Walk of life.
affluential ones, right?
Yeah.
Because my theory is, and of course I'm not a studied philosopher, but my feeling is if you sit down with your kids for dinner every single night while they're growing up, they're not going to turn into murderers.
That's actually not true.
Okay. I love when people don't agree.
Some murderers are schizophrenic.
Right.
So they hear voices. Just because you sit there and have dinner with your child every night doesn't mean they're not going to hear their voices as they get older.
Right.
The voices can tell them to kill.
Wow.
And some people can conquer their voices. Other people can't. For instance, John Nash, he conquered one of the greatest mathematicians. Is schizophrenic. He believed he worked for the Department of Defense.
So define schizophrenic?
Schizophrenic is when you hear voices. People tell you things, and most times they act on them. But a lot of times it's hallucinations. So they can see me, but they can also see somebody standing by me that's not there.
And that can occur at any time, at any age?
No, they're not diagnosed after the age of 21 most of the time. You cannot diagnose a child with schizophrenia.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, because they're not communicating their feelings and their thoughts, or?
No, because kids they also have friends. Some kids have imaginary friends. It's when you get into adulthood and you still have those imaginary friends and you start seeing other people and you start telling you people are telling you this and telling you that. You start hallucinating. Most people who are schizophrenic hallucinate dangerous events. So they think they're in danger. They think somebody's out to get them, kill them. Their mind goes to various places. Even still, some people think they're living a whole nother life. That's why it's very important.
Is that the only answer? Medication?
It's really I've only read about John Nash. Was the only person I know who sat there and was able to conquer schizophrenia without medication.
Now, in the past, did they use electrode treatment on the brain?
Yeah,
And that just fries your brain, I imagine.
because it has nothing to do with you. Like, it's not something they want. It's literally something that's in their brain that isn't connected right in neurologically. So different nerves are not
Just wired wrong. Or there's a blockage.
No, I think there's something like missing in their brain. Certain nerves are not there.
So then that's what I would say. Then that's incurable unless you could add that nerve or something. I mean, they're putting they're getting.
It's not curable.
It's not
Even
curable.
when you take the medication, it just lets you be able to distinguish between reality and hallucinations. They still hear the voices. It never stops. It just makes it,
tolerable.
yes, and able for them to be able to live
So,
life.
is there a percentage of the population that's schizophrenic, and is it more prevalent in certain countries?
I honestly cannot answer that question.
Okay. Well, these are things that, I'm curious, as I told you before we started the interview, about everything, how things work. And
That's why I love psychology. Because it's not just you reading a book. You're getting to see the people, deal with the people, learn the things about people that most people say, oh, they're crazy, they're this, they're that. But it might not even be the case. They really might have a psychological problem that they cannot help.
so you're in school now,
Yes.
and are you, as part of the schooling, to interview people that are diagnosed?
Case studies.
Case studies?
Anonymous case studies.
Have you done some?
Yeah.
Tell us about a few.
I've done case studies, but not just because hoarding. They believe that's,
Hoarders?
yeah,
Oh.
have a psychological problem.
I'm going to, one of my next interviews is going to be with a young lady who's a nurse. And unfortunately, she said yes to being a driver in a crime. Now she's a felon looking at prison time. And she made a mistake. And so I'm hoping that when people hear this in the next interview, that they're going to learn by her mistake. Because
Yeah.
people make mistakes. And she's obviously from the hood. I don't say obviously, it's just she's from the hood. And unfortunately, when you're in a very poor area, sometimes you have to resort to a life of crime. It's your environment. Do you agree that you're a product of your environment to a great degree?
No,
You don't agree with that?
no.
Well, unfortunately, a great percentage of criminals come from extremely poor environments.
I say no because I come from a poor environment.
Well, it doesn't mean they all do.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Like you're talking about
You
the
have-
hoarder. I used to have a DirecTV business, and I've been in the homes of the poorest people in Los Angeles and the richest people in Los Angeles, and I've seen poor people be clean, and I've seen poor people be hoarders and disgustingly dirty. So it's
So, your parents, they gave you life. It's what you make of your life.
well put. It's one of my big sayings is you decide which turn to make.
Yes, I don't care if somebody says their parents are, well, my dad was a drug dealer, this and that, he wasn't there. So why would you put yourself in a predicament not to be there for your kid?
I call it the blame game. You blame everyone and everything
But
except yourself.
There's always you can always become better than the person that was set as your role model.
Right.
You never have to sit there and become them.
Correct.
You choose to become them. You choose to fantasize their lifestyle. And when you fantasize their lifestyle, that's on you. Because you know right from wrong. At a young age, you know what lying is. You know killing is wrong. You know stealing is wrong. You learn that. So for you to sit there and think, okay, well, now it's their fault because... No, it's not their fault. Because you still know right from wrong. If you know what a lie is, you know what stealing is, you know what robbery is, that's on you. Don't blame anybody else for your actions. Take responsibility.
Yet they do.
Yeah. Oh, I was brainwashed and I just don't understand it. I don't understand a lot of things about the world though.
There's a lot to
Just like
to understand.
Like personally, just like for me, when I hear somebody say I'm being bullied, there is a certain things that are bullying. But because somebody doesn't like you and does not want to be your friend, that's not bullying.
Right.
Now
Well-
I can see somebody pushing you into a locker every day of your life.
Yeah.
That's bullying.
Yeah.
But words, everybody's not going to like you in life. They're not going to, and I hate when people say, oh, be friends, everybody be friends. No, that's not realistic when people get older, that everybody's going to like them. And then they think everybody's picking on them or being mean.
Yeah.
You're not picking or being mean. It's life. I don't have to like you. You don't have to like me. As long as I'm respectful to you.
Did you read the book, The Four Agreements?
No.
You're going to want to. Basically, they are be impeccable with your word, number one. Never let what people say about you affect you. Don't take it personal, which is a lot of people do. And never make assumptions, which is a very negative thing. And always do your best.
Yeah.
And that's been a bestseller for many, many, many years, decades. It's called The Four Agreements. I highly recommend it for yourself and for everyone.
Yeah.
It's a great gift, too. It's a very small book and easy to read. And I think people should live by those, of course.
I really think so. It's like, I feel like the generations have changed in parenting. Because when I was a kid, I was raised by my grandmother. And she always taught me, words don't hurt. Don't never let what somebody says about you define you. You define yourself, and you become what you want to be. You show them something wrong. You prove them wrong. You don't sit there and say, oh, they said I'm okay. You can think I'm ugly. You can think I'm this. But at the end of the day, I know I'm beautiful. I know I'm going to be a great person. It's all about you and what you define yourself to be.
You're lucky to have a grandma so bright and so smart.
Because now I was taking some child development classes and how you have to, everybody's supposed to be friendly and nice, and you're teaching children from a very early age that everybody's going to be nice and friendly too. And that's totally not true. People might not like you because of the way you look, what color you are, where you're from. As long as they're not discriminating against you and saying, no, you can't do this because of that, that's fine. You don't have to like me, but you have to accept me. But schools are so messed up now, everybody has to accept everybody.
Well, the schools are messed up. I think we're 35th in the world on our educational system. Unfortunately, America's average intelligent quotient is on a sixth grade level. So there's a lot of learning to be done. And that's why people go to psychologists, because they need someone smart to talk to figure out what's going on in their head. And it may not always be someone talking to them in their head, but the confusion of this, especially when you live in a big city, there's too much greed and selfishness and litigiousness going on.
And not even that, I feel we dumb our kids down to make them feel better about themselves. We lowered the standards in school so that they feel better about themselves. No, you work towards what you want. You don't want to feel that way, you work towards it. I don't care if you sit in the classroom during lunch, after school, before school. You work to get what you want. We don't dumb it down for you. It's ridiculous.
Well,
I really feel like education levels have gone down tremendously.
They have. There's no question. Look at the statistics.
And now they want to get rid of this exit exam for high school. The exit exam is only sixth grade level.
And they don't pass, right?
And I don't understand it. What are you doing in school where you're not passing at a 6th grade level? Did your teacher just continuously pass you? No. We need to be able to hold kids back until they get it. Not keep passing them through life.
What's the numbers? I believe it's the numbers. The system would get clogged up if you didn't pass people that shouldn't be passed, rather.
Because it's people out here who really don't understand, and they keep going through life not understanding. That's ridiculous. No, I need you to understand what you're learning. Because then when you understand what you're learning in school, you can understand what you're learning in life.
That's why I think this podcast is so valuable. I really am talking to people, smart people that have something to offer, either the mind, the body, or the planet. And obviously you're working in the mind, which is really probably the most important of the three.
Yes.
Because without the mind working, the body's not going to function, and the world's going to be a mess.
Yeah. And everybody sends their kids.
Is that right?
Yeah. Child psychology.
Well, I was lucky. My kids came out real bright and they're
like
very
that.
successful.
This is not, I don't know. Or they want a diagnosis to why their child isn't doing something.
Right. Yes. Let's close. But I think the things parents do wrong, in my opinion, is we teach fear.
Yeah.
We raise our kids with fear. If you climb up that tree, you're going to break your neck. If you don't go to school, you're going to be a failure. If you don't get married at a certain age, you're going to be an old maid.
Yeah. See, no, I have a child, and that's not what I'm instilling.
Well, of course not. You're smarter than the average bear.
Yeah, it's okay for you to fall. It's okay for you to get hurt. Get back up, try it again.
Exactly.
Keep trying. It's just like when you're teaching a child how to walk. You let the child fall. You don't.
Well, my example is when you learn to ride a bike, you fell down, you scraped your knee, you put a Band-Aid on, you got up, you rode the bike again.
Exactly.
Don't be afraid to take risk.
Exactly. But everybody's so afraid to take risks, so they stick within the norm of what society.
They don't take any chances.
Instead of chasing the oh, I have this great idea in my head for this vision, but I'm scared that I'm going to fail. Don't be afraid that you're going to fail. Go out and try. Failure is an option.
I love challenges. Just this morning, I got a phone call from a guy whose mother was the first personal assistant to Michael Jackson. And she knows the real story. So it looks like I'm going to take on that project, maybe do a documentary on the real story, the true story of Michael Jackson. So
Yeah,
that's exciting.
This story that was just published was...
Yeah, well, it's all about bad news. You know, the newscaster's motto is, if it bleeds, it leads. No one wants to hear good news.
Exactly. And then it's horrible that particularly somebody of that degree of integrity would put out this news from people's parents. And then you have the person who it supposedly happened to come out and say, no, that didn't happen. They're lying for money.
For money. $22 million that one person got.
For money. Now, if the child says they're lying for money, he has the biggest gain. He's an adult now. Parents have nothing to gain, except for if the child takes the settlement. So they're going to keep pushing and keep pushing until they say, here you go, here's a check. Hush your mouth.
Exactly. Volunteer.
Yes. And it's
We
really
need
horrible.
those people to do that.
I lived down south for a year, and you know how everybody says down south they have manners down south.
Right.
They say hello to everybody. When you walk down the street, they don't know you, but they're going to speak to you. Hello, good morning, how are you?
Isn't that a wonderful
It's
environment?
wonderful. Say hello. They open doors. Chivalry isn't dead. It's dead in big cities.
And that's
People
why
think about
my
themselves.
mission is to bring it back. And if I've got 1,144, you just signed up as 1,144, right? My goal is to get 1 million people to start thinking like that. At least. That's my first goal. And then after we hit 1 million, then maybe we go for 10 million. But if everyone starts letting people in, you know how good it makes you feel when you let someone in traffic? It makes you feel great. And it makes them feel great. Pay it forward. Be nice. Be kind. Be considerate.
Yeah.
That's all the mission is I'm doing right now. The Be Fantastic movement. BeFantasticToday.com. My Instagram is be_fantastic forever. Do you have Instagram? It's a great Instagram page. I release every day a motivational quote, an inspirational slogan, or a wise man advice every day on Instagram. So that's pretty cool. Well, young lady, how old are you?
I'm 22.
22, and you're smarter than most people that are twice your age or sometimes 3 times your age. I'm so happy that you have this goal, that you're trying to do what you're trying to do, and you will accomplish it, because you have to. You have to. It's almost like it's not an option. Talking to nurses and doctors and instilling upon them my philosophy of living for the day, being kind, being fantastic. So how are you today?
I'm fantastic.
There you go. Everybody, be fantastic. Thanks for listening, and have a fantastic life.